Challenges, barriers. I think one of the most significant challenges that I face in my day-to-day experience is that since I work with children and families, that the parents can often come with the mentality like, here, fix my child, fix my kid. It's them. Something is wrong with them and they have to get right. And so oftentimes, like, parents don't realize that the child is in an environment and he's connected to a group of people, which is his family. And so when things start to happen, usually that behavior is a way of communication. And that child is communicating a message to the parents that the parents may not necessarily be getting. And so, that is a challenge, because obviously if you think that everything is the child's problem and there's nothing that you can do as a parent, then, you're going to wait for your child to get better and not do anything to help that child other than seek external help, when it really requires some internal help and support within you, within a parent, the caregiver, and within the home. The thing I say I probably enjoy most about the work I do is, sometimes dealing with some unmotivated or resistant youth I may work with. And after a while, sitting there with them, speaking with them, sharing some information, insights with them, they'll automatically one day will just be like, I never thought of that. Or I never heard that before. It may not seem like much, but it is an indication that they're listening. They heard something and it's starting to work on them in a certain type of way. So I think that is a reward that I experienced, that I enjoy the most. Or oftentimes it may be some years afterwards. I may see a child, they may have graduated school, got their first job, got their first car, or even had their first child. And I encounter them and they say, hey, Mr. Taharka, like, a lot of things that you said to me, a lot of things we discussed, some of the skills you helped me develop is actually useful at this point in time. It really didn't make sense to me then, and I probably didn't really use it or implement it at that time, but I see why, like how important it is today. So that's an experience I enjoy, that feedback that I receive, and it really like energizes me to keep going, because it knows that I'm doing the right type of work. What I would say to most parents, I would say not necessarily looking at the child as the issue. Usually because what the child presents is a symptom of what may be going on. And so I encourage most parents that I encounter, I encourage them to work on themselves, right? The key is transform yourself and transform your child, because we don't control other people. We actually can only control ourselves and what happens with us. So I've identified 3 C's of parenting. And so I'm going to share them with you. So the first C is controllables, identifying what's controllable, what's not controllable. They say that we'll have an easier time moving a mountain than changing the character of another person. And I think parents are often caught in that struggle trying to control their child. So once you realize that you can't control another person, I think that'll help reduce some stress and some of the frustration. Also, it's about communication, right? The communication exchange, understanding how you communicate, both verbally and non-verbally, because communication, whether you know it or not, 93% of the communication exchange is non-verbal, body gestures, eye movements, things like that. Only 7% is the actual verbal message that we speak at our mouths. Lastly, the last C would be consistency. Showing up in a way that you want your child to show up. Not thinking that you could tell your child what to do and they'll just do it, but being able to model that and being able to follow through on some things that you say you're going to do in a consistent way. And being able to create routines and habits with your children that are consistent, that allows them to develop and learn and grow the skill that you actually want them to grow.